Welcome to The Explainer. Sometimes a story comes along that feels like it's straight out of a spy novel. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. A phantom oil tanker, a really dramatic seizure out in the North Atlantic, and what looks like a brewing confrontation between two global superpowers.
And it's all happening right now. The chase, it's over. After this incredibly tense, days-long pursuit across the entire Atlantic, the United States military has seized a mysterious oil tanker, one with clear ties to Venezuela. Now, this move has already triggered a pretty sharp response from Russia, and it's really setting the stage for a major international incident.
Okay, so how did we even get here? I mean, this wasn't some chance encounter out on the high seas. No way. This was a calculated operation, meticulously planned and executed.
The story really kicks off about 2 weeks ago. You've got this tanker, and it just flees the coast of Venezuela. But here's the thing. As it crossed the Atlantic, it was being watched the whole time. In just the past few days, U.S. Air Force surveillance planes were tracking its every single move as it sailed past Ireland. And then, today, just hours before the seizure was even confirmed, Marine trackers noticed the vessel just came to a dead stop in the water. Kind of strange, right?
And what makes this whole thing even more significant is that this was actually their second try. That's right. Just last month, the U.S. Coast Guard tried to board this very same vessel off the coast of Venezuela, but the ship, it managed to get away. This time, though, a coordinated operation with both the Navy and the Coast Guard made sure that didn't happen again.
So what's the deal with this phantom tanker? I mean, the ship's identity is about as murky as the waters it was sailing in, and honestly, that's a huge piece of this puzzle.
Well, get this. When it started its journey a couple of weeks ago, it was called the Bella One, and it was flying the flag of Guyana. But then, halfway across the Atlantic, it suddenly changes its name to the Marinara and reflags itself as Russian. I mean, a complete identity swap, right in the middle of the ocean. It's wild.
This whole mid-ocean transformation just begs a critical question, right? Why the disguise? Was this some desperate attempt to get Russian protection? Or was the ship Russian all along? We still don't know the real motive behind the identity swap, but it is absolutely at the heart of this entire international incident.
And this is where the mystery really deepens. The tanker is supposedly empty of oil, and its final destination was probably a Russian port. But if it was empty, why on earth would Russia deploy military assets, we're talking maybe even a submarine, to protect it? Clearly, something on that ship, or maybe the ship itself, was valuable enough to risk a major confrontation.
Okay, let's break down the key players here, because this is where it gets really complex. We're looking at a three-way diplomatic standoff between the U.S., Russia, and Venezuela. So from the U.S. point of view, that sudden flag change is just a legal fiction. The administration is basically saying the ship is stateless, which means it has no national identity. And under international maritime law, that's a big deal. It gives any nation the right to board and seize it in international waters.
But Russia, they are pushing back, and they're pushing back hard. They're directly contradicting the U.S. claim, stating flat out that they are the owners of this vessel, the Marinara. So yeah, this sets up a really direct confrontation over who owns it and who has rights to it.
And of course, all of this traces right back to Venezuela. The tanker started its journey from a Venezuelan port, which ties it directly to the nation's sanctioned oil industry. And from the U.S. standpoint, it's pretty simple. Any nation that supports the Venezuelan government, we're talking Russia, China, Iran, is considered an adversary. But you know what? This seizure isn't just about one ship. Not at all. According to some new reports, this is just one move in a much larger strategic game. And yeah, it all comes down to oil.
Apparently, White House officials have given Venezuela's interim government a really clear set of conditions if they want to get back to producing and selling oil. Condition 1, they have to cut all economic ties with U.S. adversaries. And Condition 2, they have to partner exclusively with the United States for their oil sales. It's pretty direct.
And it seems like this strategy is already in motion. I mean, this Friday, the president is scheduled to meet with executives from major American oil companies. We're talking Chevron, which is the last U.S. oil giant still operating in Venezuela, plus ConocoPhillips and ExxonMobil.
So the bottom line is this. According to sources, the president has made it crystal clear that the ultimate priority here is making sure the U.S. gets a bigger piece of the pie, a higher stake in Venezuela's oil. So this whole tanker seizure, it really starts to look like one very bold move in a much larger economic game.
Which, of course, brings us to the bigger picture, because seizing one ship, even a super mysterious one, is really just a tactic. The strategy here, it's about sending a message on the global chessboard.
So, okay, the U.S. has the tanker. In the short term, as one analyst pointed out, there's not a lot anyone can do to challenge a superpower's actions out on the high seas. But the real test, that's going to be the long-term consequences.
Look, this act sends a really powerful signal to rivals like Russia and China about American resolve, for sure. But it also comes with some major risks. You've got military analysts and lawmakers who are already raising the alarm about this escalating to open hostilities with Russia, and there's this growing belief that, yeah, this might be a short-term win, but there's going to be some form of payback down the line that maybe, just maybe, the White House isn't fully calculating right now.
So, with the tanker captured and the diplomatic lines drawn in the sand, the immediate tension has absolutely peaked. But the larger strategic game, that's just getting started. And it leaves everyone asking the same question. In this global game of chicken, what is the next move?